Welcome to the BullensMagic podcast. I'm Seth Dussault, alongside of me, my co-host Rebecca Osowski. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, Rebecca, quarter way through the season, we're 12-4, 750 winning percentage. Gotta like that.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it really shows what Coach Dombrowski brings to the table, but I also think it really shows the depth that we have and that we can put together different lineups and we can trust our pitchers to go in there and have a strong performance. And I think that that's something that we're going to need going forward, especially as we get closer to the end of the season and hopefully the playoffs.
When Jackson Hornung was on the Futures League's main league podcast, Back to the Futures, he was asked if BullensMagic is real. And he said, of course it's real. Undefeated at home, 9-0 this year, going back to last year, have won 10 straight at home. This is your first year with the team, and now you've got to start to experience some of it. What's been the clearest example of BullensMagic for you?
Oh, geez. I don't know. Like I said, I think that it's awesome that we can continue to go out there and no matter who we put out on the mound or who we have in the lineup, that they can perform. I mean, in yesterday's game, Dan Hussey hit 3 doubles. Jack Power had a strong game. Ryan Lavelle had a strong game, both at the plate and in the field. And I think that just really shows that no matter where you are, that BullensMagic does come into play.
Well, our guest on this podcast today, Kevin Hummer, has certainly proven that. He's a starting pitcher and he's an intern. And Rebecca, you've gotten to work with him kind of on both sides of the baseball, on the field and off. What's working with him been like?
Oh, it's awesome. I think it's so cool that he has the ability to be a player and also an intern. And I think he brings a lot to the table with his photography and graphic design. And as we move forward, I hope to continue to learn from him in both those fields and learn about him a little bit more and what those fields are like.
He certainly has brought a lot. And so without further ado, it's Kevin Hummer. It's episode 4, season 1 of the BullensMagic podcast. From the Starfires pitching staff and the intern group, it's Kevin Hummer. Kev, how you doing, my man?
Good. How are you?
Living the dream. Look, been a pretty great start to the season, obviously, and you've been a big part of that in a lot of different ways. But let's start at the beginning. How did you get into playing baseball?
I think it was a birthright for me. My dad grew up playing baseball, and I think I probably was given a baseball bat before I could even really hold it. So, kind of from the beginning. And, going on every day from probably since I was 2 years old, once I was able to walk, I started, wanting to go outside, throw, hit, field, whatever it was. And, my parents were very happy with that. So I think from there on, it was just I did the same process that everybody else did, going to Little League and high school and everything like that.
And when you were growing up, who was your favorite baseball player and who was another athlete in a different sport that you enjoyed watching?
Baseball player, no doubt, was Derek Jeter. I'm a big Yankees fan, and I know that's a little bit weird being a Yankee fan in Massachusetts, but Jeter was my idol. I wanted to be just like him. And in another sport, I really liked Kobe Bryant. I liked watching him play basketball and his mentality, the Mamba mentality that, everybody always talked about. I really liked how he attacked his game.
So you grew up with Jeter as your favorite player. How'd you end up becoming a pitcher then?
I think, pitching was I always liked pitching just a little bit more than playing the field. I loved defense, so I loved always trying to imitate that Jeter throw. But the hitting side, I definitely was a little bit more of an inconsistent hitter, and then I realized I was like, man, I'm a little bit better at this pitching thing, so maybe I want to do that a little bit more. But I always liked to be the center of attention, if you will. The guy that has the mound. The game relies on you, and I think I liked that.
What is one fun fact or skill that you have that not many people know about?
I guess something like that for right now is that when I was in high school, I was in theater and band. I did the musicals and I played the saxophone. So I guess that would probably be the one fun fact for me.
What's the most memorable theater performance you were a part of?
That's a good one. When I was a junior, we did a show called Urinetown, which was about a water shortage and people had to pay to go to the bathroom, which was quite a fun show. And I was the bad guy in that musical, and we ended up being nominated for Best Musical at the Mount Wachusett Community College Theater Awards that they have there, and we actually ended up winning Best Musical, which was really fun. So that was definitely one of the better shows I was ever a part of.
If we keep on the music theme a little bit, what is your walk-up song and how did you choose it?
Walk-up song is Bring 'Em Out by T.I. And to be honest with you, I think I chose it when I was in high school. Our high school basketball team ran out to that song, and I really liked it. So then when I got to college and we got to pick walk-up songs, I chose that as my walk-up.
Who do you think has on your college team? We won't throw anybody on the Starfires under the bus. On your college team, who's got the best walk-up song and who's got the worst one?
Oh, geez. Best walk-up song on WNE. Ben Harrison. Ben Harrison had a really good walk-up. He was a senior designated hitter for us this year. I think it was something by Travis Scott. I forget what it was, but I'll have to give that to Ben. And then the worst one, oh geez. I feel like this is a trick question, you know? I feel like it's a lose-lose scenario for me.
You know, it doesn't even have to necessarily be the word. I would just the one that, like, man, I would never pick that if it were up to me.
Well, I guess I'll say Matt Loria, freshman starting pitcher. He had a country song as his walk up, and I don't think I would be able to walk out to a country song. So sorry, Matt, but I don't think I would be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's weird for a baseball person. Country music's just not my jam.
I like it a little bit, but I just don't think I think it's the right moment. Like I can listen to country music on the baseball field, but it doesn't get me hyped up to pitch, I don't think.
If we transition to your time now with the Starfires, how did you get involved with the team?
So this past fall, I met with my coach and asked him if he wanted me to play summer ball at all, and he seems to have a pretty good relationship with everybody here at the organization. I think he has a really good relationship with Hunter, and I think that was kind of how I think his relationship really put me into this organization, which was awesome. And when it came to joining the intern staff, I ended up just asking Hunter, if there was a possibility at all, since, I'm a pitcher, I don't play every day necessarily, on some of those off days, if I could help out the organization in any other way. And then Hunter put me in touch with Evan, and Evan and I worked something out, and we've got a pretty good thing going right now.
You do a lot of photography for us. How did you get into that?
So my mom always was a team photographer. She would always come to games, take pictures. And when, I saw her doing that, I always wanted to see, I was like, hey, Mom, can I have your camera? Can I take some pictures? If we would go to my sister's softball games, I would ask if I could take some pictures, and really just kind of fell in love with it from there on. And a little bit this past year, I worked in my school's athletic department and did a little bit of photography for some of the sports there too. So really kind of just progressing over the past couple of years. It's gotten a little bit better with, the settings and everything. You could probably find some of those old pictures I took and you'd say, oh, the person's head's not in the picture, Kev, you got to work on that. But,
What has the balance been like being both a pitcher and an intern? I know I'm just an intern and I know what that's like for me, but from your perspective, what has that balance been like in trying to, handle both of them at the same time?
So far, it's been pretty seamless. I get to come to the field and get my work in on days that I'm not pitching, make sure I'm, throwing and doing my conditioning, hip mobility, arm care, anything like that. And basically on the days where I'm not pitching, after I'm done with all my work, I can, help with the game day lineup graphics or, take some pictures on the field. So basically on any of those days where I don't have to, worry about going to the game, I get to, have a set time for baseball and then a set time for interning, which is pretty great.
One fun thing that we did a couple days ago was the exhibition education day games. Not going to talk about my plate appearance because that's been done to death, but I want to talk a little bit about another one of the Starfire staff members, Ben Arnold, who twirled 4 1/3 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 5. What was it like seeing him go out there and throw backdoor sliders for strikes in khakis?
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see somebody who hasn't, been in a competitive spot like that in a while to just, come out and, basically shove was pretty sweet, pretty sweet. And, everybody had a big smile on their day on their face that day. So, awesome day at the ballpark.
In addition to that fun exhibition game, is there one thing from this season, one memory that sticks out to you so far?
You know what? As for something that's not necessarily on the ball field, we've had on the bus rides, we've had some pretty good games of Mafia so far with the guys, and that's just one of those things that I always look forward to on summer ball is spending time with the guys on the bus rides, and because we don't play Mafia at my school, so it's one of those things I always look forward to for summer ball is playing Mafia with the guys.
You're an older player. You just finished your first grad year at Western New England. Some of the guys on this team are high school seniors going into their first year in college. Have you put yourself in any type of mentorship role with any of the younger players and been able to use some of the things you've learned over the years being a college level pitcher to try to help them?
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about this league. I don't know if I'm in a set mentorship role with any specific player yet, but every year in summer ball, every guy is always trying to pick each other's brain, trying to say, oh, how do you throw your slider this way? How do you, get the feel for your changeup on days when you don't have it? And some of the guys, we've all been kind of talking to each other about even if it's just what's your post game recovery. And I think some of the younger guys on the team are really, really eager to learn. And I think that's really, really great to see and hopefully going to bode well for them in the future.
Is there one specific thing that you've taken from your time playing college baseball that you are trying to implement here with the Starfires or pass on to other guys?
I think if anything, it's just to try and stay the course, know that everything isn't going to necessarily go your way every single time out. And I think that was something that I learned really early on in my college career. My freshman year definitely wasn't what I expected it to be. I had a little bit of struggles later in my career later in my freshman year, and, I was really, really down on myself at the end of that year, but, came back, had a better sophomore year, and seeing that as long as you're putting in the hard work and you believe in yourself, you're going to be fine. And I think a lot of those younger guys already have the mentality, which is awesome.
And speaking of that, your sophomore year and then obviously the COVID year, but then your senior year. So those 2 years, that the full seasons, first team all conference pitcher at Western New England. What was it like the first time when you saw that announcement? It was like, oh my gosh, I'm first team all conference.
Yeah, the first time was a little crazy because our coach actually told us all the guys who made the team right before practice started. So we hadn't even heard of the news yet. And, being a sophomore on a team with two really, really great starting pitchers ahead of me, Bob Hamill and Paul Wetmore, had been starters since they were sophomores and really, really great careers. And to, be named first team kind of ahead of them was a bit of a shock, but it was really, really awesome. All the guys were super supportive of me. And those two guys, Bob and Paul, were instrumental in my success as a sophomore. So that was awesome. That was really great.
Seth mentioned earlier that you've also been a huge part of the Starfires' success this season. You're 12-4. You remain at the top of the league standings. What has been the message from Coach Dombrowski and the rest of the staff moving forward through the season?
I think just kind of, staying loose a little bit, having some fun, and obviously winning, can contribute a lot to that. But we've got a great lineup, we've got a great staff, and all these guys are really capable of being dominant in this league. And as long as, we don't get a little too unfocused, I think that we're going to be in a really great spot moving forward because, 1 through 15 on the lineup and then 1 through 20 on the pitching staff all can come in and contribute in some sort of way.
You're from Massachusetts. I know you said you're a Yankees fan, which same here, but you certainly must have grown up watching baseball games on NESN. What does it mean to you to be able to play a home game at Bullens Field on NESN and have the Starfires be on the network?
That's going to be great. That's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be such a cool experience for all these guys, especially if they hadn't been in the league before, to really be a part of the NESN experience. But since the Futures League has kind of been, known for having local guys in it, it's a really, really cool experience for everybody.
And we've asked this question to everybody we've had on, and I've certainly enjoyed listening to the answers, but what is something outside of baseball that you're enjoying in Westfield?
Just the area. I know I have been in Western Mass for a long time, past 5 years, going to school in Springfield. But being able to spend some time in Westfield, it's a great town, great city, and being able to explore it, find some of the local, breakfast places and lunch spots has been really awesome.
What's been your favorite place so far to eat?
Well, what was the name of it? It was a breakfast place. I think it was the Good Table, maybe. Good
Oh yeah,
Table.
yeah, right. Yep.
Very, very good spot. Very good spot.
Right outside of the center of town, the big rotary.
Yep. Right down the road there. Yep.
Yeah, that's a fantastic spot. Kev, appreciate you taking the time to join us here, and been great working with you and watching you pitch as well. And we'll see if the Starfires can keep it going 12-4 through the first 16 games. A pretty good clip.
Absolutely. Thank you both for having me. Appreciate it.
As Kevin Hummer of the Westfield Starfires baseball team on episode 4 of season 1 of BullensMagic podcast.